Okay, so welcome to another presentation, and here we hope to discuss 7 resolutions that you and I should consider for this coming 2025. I'm actually considering them and think there are also things that everybody should consider implementing into their new year. So the first is to see to your mental well-being. The truth is, at the core of our existence is our mental health. There's that common saying that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The Bible also says, for those who trust in the Lord, out of their belly, and some versions will say out of their heart will flow rivers of living water. The heart in this case being the seat of our emotions, the belly being our very gut, the very gut instincts that God has given us. Our mental health would ultimately come to impact our physical health, would ultimately come to impact our spiritual health, would ultimately come to impact our relationships, whether it goes south or it goes north, would impact how productive we are in any area of chosen endeavor, would also impact our quality of life, helps to manage stresses and challenges, because the truth is, there is no life that is stress-free. And the more impactful, the more productive your life is, chances are the more stressed you will be. But with a robust and a well-attended mental health, you'll be able to wade through the storms of stress and challenges that will confront each and every one of us every now and then. So the first thing is pay attention to your mental health. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2 says, Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health, as it goes well with your soul. So the prosperity of the entirety of your life is heavily hinged on the prosperity of your soul. The prosperity of your soul in this case, I mean your mental health. Having all the money in the bank account but unable to sleep because one is pervaded by anxiety and panic attacks does not really augur well. Someone who does not have much but is able to enjoy sound health, I tell you, will probably live longer than the wealthy who is not able to sleep well. So pay attention to your mental health. The prosperity of the entirety of your prosperity as an individual is hinged on how prosperous your soul is. Your soul in relation to your mental health, your soul in relation to your spiritual health would ultimately now flow into your soul in relation to your physical life, physical health, daily life experiences. So what are some ways that you can improve your mental health in this coming year? For someone who struggles, just then if you have physical health challenges, you would know, you would have had symptoms. For someone who has mental health challenges, it could be chronic anxiety, it could be sleeplessness, it could be excessive worry, it could be very low mood that are persistent and chronic. Those are symptoms, those are signs to let you know that something may be going on with your mental health. So seek therapy. I think it's high time we begin to demystify and destigmatize the need to seek therapy. Seeking therapy is just the same way someone will say, I have a physical therapist who helps me to get in shape, to grow all the muscles. There's no stigma around that. But when someone says they're going for therapy, there is a cloud of discomfort around it. No, it shouldn't be. The same way you go to the hospital for a general checkup is the same way you should also go to the hospital or go to a therapist to at least take care of your mental health the same way you would also take care of your physical health. Even if you do observe that your own children are having manifestations that are suspicious or symptomatic of any mental health disorders, the child worries a lot, the child is unduly sad, if it's beyond your ability to be able to help the child with it, chances are it may be beyond your ability. Find a child therapist, find a child counselor who can help your child. Most mental health issues are better nipped in bud early on before it becomes full blown and then we're struggling to fix some really messy deals. So the first thing is seek therapy this coming 2025. And the second thing is journal. The same way we would, as physicians, encourage people to go for exercise so they can be trim and in shape. Journaling is also like a form of mental exercise. So all of the junks, all of the automatic negative thoughts, all of the negative core beliefs, you can begin to put them on paper and see the trend of your thoughts and realize the ones that serve you and the ones that don't serve you. Then the act of journaling is also a form of unburdening. By the time you've taken the time to put it on paper, it doesn't really bother you as much as it would have had it been you kept it all locked in your mind. Then the act of journaling again slows down the pace of thought for those who have florid thoughts, thoughts that eventually becomes overwhelming. It slows down the pace of thoughts. You can probably think 1,000 thoughts in a minute. You cannot write more than a single or two frames of thought in 1 minute. So it slows it down. And so it's also like you're training your brain to become a bit slower and more intentional in thought patterns rather than automatic and unintentional. So commit to journaling. That could be daily, that could be twice a week, but make it a routine and stick to it. If you want to go to the exercise, if you want to go for exercise with the intention of gaining some muscles, you want to be consistent, you want to be intentional, you want to just have a routine around it. It's also the same thing. If you want journaling to be something that will be beneficial to you, have consistency, have routine around it, and be intentional and be sure that you stick to it, come what may. Then the third thing is meditation. Meditation is also a form of unburdening. I would see it as what healthy diet is to physical health, meditation is to mental health. It's you being aware of your thoughts and being aware of your bodily sensations. These are not activities that we would ordinarily do. I mean, as I'm seated, there are a number of bodily sensations that are going on, but I'm not aware of any one of them, except I intentionally pace myself, slow down, really feel into my body. And I think there was a video we had that we said emotions are bodily sensations. All emotions, they are bodily sensations. You are hungry, you would feel it bodily. But the truth is, many times we're not aware, so we just intellectualize the emotions. You are sad, you will feel it bodily. So the act of meditation allows you to come in touch with the very core or the very root of your mental health, of the entirety of your mental health, because at the seat of every mental health is your emotions. At the seat of that is the core beliefs. But if I can learn to sit and really feel my feelings and then trace it down till I get to the core belief, I mean, that is wholesome. Eventually, life does not just happen to me. I become a participant of life. I become a partaker of life. I'm actually intentional and fully present, bodily, soul, and mind in every day-to-day experience that I have. Then the fourth one is keep positive company. Who you work with, you eventually become. Is true. There's no harm. It's not a cliche. It's just the fact. And there's also that common saying that says, if you have 5 friends, you did not count well. They are 6. They are 6. You being the 6th person. And if it's 5 unwise friends, so to say, the individual did not count well. There are 6, and of course, this individual being the 6th person. So keep positive company, because one, they are a boost to your mental health, they are a boost to your thought patterns, they are a boost to your decisions. Then they would influence you positively, rather than you keeping company with negative people and then you come back home with negative emotions and the cycle repeats itself over and over again. Then mind your inner chatter. The act of journaling, the act of meditation will allow you to come to begin to really pay attention to what is going on in your mind, what is going on in your thought pattern, to hear the stories and the narratives you're telling yourself and be able to deconstruct those ones that are not in line with what you hope or what you aim for your life. Then the 6th one is exercise. Exercise would release some neurotransmitters like serotonin, which helps to calm you down. It's also will boost your mood. It would also release a number of some other neurotransmitters, relaxin and the like. So you want to incorporate exercise into your daily activities. That could just be 30 minutes brisk walk, 3 days a week. And if you're already doing that, you want to scale it up a bit more, just to something that gives you a bit of increased heart rate, that I was able to do a bit of cardio and accelerate my heart rate. Those are the things you're going for by way of exercise. If lifting weights is your kind of thing, go for it. But if you've not built physical stamina to be able to go that far, you may just be walking around your block, you may be walking around your compound a number of times just to see that you were able to release some sweat, your heart raised a bit, and you scale it up as much as you can tolerate. Then sleep, 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 sleep. Now, medicine would recommend 8 hours. I would also recommend that. But based on what demands life has placed on you, be intentional about incorporating a healthy sleep regime. Now, if you happen to be a Gen Z, I usually joke with those who are my clients who are Gen Z that they've literally flipped the sleep rhythm, because they are awake in the night and now they are asleep during the day. It's not very healthy for someone who wants to be mentally fit. You want to sleep at night so that your body can release melatonin, will help your cognition, will help your mood, will help you to feel relaxed, will help you to be productive. Melatonin is released when the environment is dark, not during the day. So if you stay up all night and then you sleep all day, I don't know how much melatonin your body will be able to release with such sleep pattern. So you want to incorporate, even if not 8 hours, be sure you're sleeping at night when everybody else is sleeping. I think that's the simplest way I can put it. So that the onus is now on you as an individual who wants to be mentally fit, to see how you can schedule your time appropriately based on the demands that life has of you. Then the eighth one is pray. Human being is tripartite. We are spirit, soul, and body. The soul, which is the seat of our mental health, is the intersect of our physical being and our spiritual being. And the act of prayer is you allowing the life of God to flow into your soul man, the seat of your mental health. So you want to really commit or be intentional about having an effective prayer life in this 2025. It's not a year that anybody who really wants to be solid as regards mental health, or really in all areas of life, would want to go without God. It may not really be the best of decisions for a child of God. So the second resolution that I would recommend is to be intentional about your physical health. To be intentional about your physical health. Our body would only host our soul and our spirit above a certain threshold, below which the individual sinks into coma, and below which, of course, the spirit will have to exit. Then we're talking death. So we still need our body as vessels to be able to serve the goodness of God's grace to our generation in whatever field of endeavor you may have chosen. And you need your body to be healthy, to be fit. That's when you can really be as productive as God demands it. Now, in addition to what we said for mental health, some other things you want to add will be a healthy diet. Healthy diets are simply, I would say, things that come from the farm. That's the simplest way I can put it. So if what you're eating comes from the farm and you've been able to eat it in moderation without going into the details of nutrition, you can safely assume that you're eating healthy. Moderate it. Be sure it's organic. That's what I meant by from the farm. You want to reduce processed meals. You want to take a lot of fruits and vegetables, and of course a lot of water. And we mentioned exercise earlier in mental health. So the same thing, if you want to be physically healthy, you want to incorporate that. Then the third one, which we don't do very often, is medical checkups. Let 2025 be a year that you will go for at least one medical checkup. Why did I say that? If you have a very good vehicle that means a lot to you, chances are every now and then you will go meet the mechanic and ask the person to just check your engine. You will not wait until it begins to smoke up or it begins to make weird sounds before you go to the mechanic. It's the same thing with your human body. You have just this body, you don't have a spare. You have just this one life, you don't have a spare. Even if organs can be transplanted, it is not that easy. Getting donor, even all of it's something not to wish for. Let's just leave it at that. So go for medical checkups. No one is too young to have a medical checkup. When you get to the hospital, your physician will be able to tailor your investigation based on your needs, your age, and plus or minus any other medical condition that you may have as an individual. So commit to having at least one medical checkup this 2025 so that things, should there be any medical challenge, they are discovered early on, they can be addressed and even cured if discovered early on before they become full-blown and then they are labeled diseases that will be managed, not cured. Alright, so the third one that I would suggest, which is also what I'll be doing, is spiritual growth. I know we mentioned prayer in the part of mental health, but I brought spiritual growth out as an entity because at the root of it all, the spiritual controls the physical. Regardless of what you dream, how hard you work, what your visions are, you can only go so far to the extent that you are aided by God. For someone who is a child of God, and those who are not, they also have the ways they get their own aids. And there are some threshold of exploit or success, you call it what, that are not attainable unaided by God. So that's what I mean by the spiritual controls the physical. So you want to be intentional about seeking God. You want to be intentional about studying your Bible. You want to be intentional about prayer. You want to be intentional about listening to sermons and going to church. Is food for the spirit. So incorporate that into your 2025. Then I would also want you to, while reflecting on how some other ways you can have better spiritual growth in 2025. A life of significance with peace can only be found in God. The clause there is with peace. You can have a life of significance, but it may not be with peace. That's why I said there are those who would stash billions and sadly jump off the roof. It's sad. But the peace component that comes with success, that comes with exploit, can only be found in God. Nowhere else. No one else. So while seeking exploit, while seeking to reach nations, to touch lives, be sure that you are also really rooted in the God of all grace, who can then be your anchor as you do all of the exploits. Then the fourth resolution I would want to recommend is set goals. You know, there's that saying that he who fails to plan, plans to fail. Set goals. This, as you enter this or begin this 2025, what are your dreams for this 2025? If it means you're going to write 3 things that you hope to achieve and you invest all of your energy towards achieving it, if it's going to be 5 things, if you feel you have all of the energy and the inner and the outer resources to get it done. But by all means, don't go into 2025 without any definite dream, without any definite plan, without any definite vision of what you hope to achieve in 2025. Then while you're planning the big dreams, also plan the day. Be intentional about starting out your day with a set of tasks or intentions that you aim to achieve each day. That way you're more productive. You don't just go through life and life is happening to you. You're the one happening to life. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision down, make it plain, that who reads it may run with it. So that, because by the time you have the plan and life gets really chaotic, those plans will be like anchors and constant reminder that this is what I set out to achieve this day. So regardless of the distraction or the stress, I will be intentional about putting in all the effort I can to make it work. this is what I've set to achieve this year, and regardless of the many unplanned demands, I still set that as at the fore of my mind that we're working towards it, and lo and behold, you see that it comes to be. Then you want to periodically review your plans. It could be a quarterly review, maybe by the third month you review it, by the sixth month you review it, by the ninth month you review. Just okay, so where are we in this plan? Then we update it as the case may be. Now, still on goals setting, I just want to add a little bit on social media. Social media has been a huge blessing to this generation, but if unmanaged, could also be a huge cost, because it's one thing that can waste time, and for persons who are really really unfortunate, it can waste destinies. So use social media with discretion. Be intentional when you're going there, what you're going there for, how long you will be there for. Even if it means you're going to install some apps that would moderate your use of social media, by all means go for it, bearing in mind that your use of social media should add to your goal for the year, not detract from it. If you detract from it, then the use probably needs to be reviewed. Then the fifth one is work hard and work smart. Regardless of where you work or what you do, maybe you are an employee or you're an employer or you're an investor, as the case may be, Proverbs chapter 22 verse 29 says, "Seeth a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings and not mean men." Standing before kings is hinged on diligence. At the root of diligence is working hard. After having worked hard, then one can begin to work smart. And if you can do both together, bravo. Still the same Bible, Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10 says, "Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might." So whatever your hand is finding to do now, even if that is not your dream job, do it with all your might while you can, while God prepares the dream job for you. If you manage another person's business, do it with all your might while God prepares your own business for you. Because every work is a blessing, regardless of how odd the job is. Every work is a blessing. And when we work hard, when we work smart, that's the way we express gratitude to the God of all grace who provided job in the first place. Then when you work hard and you work smart, when you're really intentional and you bring your best to the table, regardless of what you do, it helps your personal growth. There's that, you have a greater sense of worth, a greater sense of esteem, a greater sense of purpose, even if what you're doing is seemingly odd when it comes to people's definition of jobs. Okay, then of course financial security, we all need that in the present day and age now. Then the fact that you are intentional in what you do, you are building some solid self-discipline that is needed for any life that will be successful. Doing whatever, you will need self-discipline to be successful. Now, if you happen to have one work that you're doing, that is the best place to be able to begin to start inculcating and building some of these life skills that will be needed. Now, Psalm 90 verse 19 says, "May the favor of the Lord our God rest upon us. Establish for us the work of our hands." Yes, establish the work of our hands. So at the end of the day, you need work on your hands or in your hands for God to establish. So if He's going to establish the work of our hands, be sure that you're doing something and you're doing it with all of your heart. You're giving it your best effort. That way, God would gladly establish such work. And still, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 11 to 12 says, "God will lavish you with good things. He would throw open the doors of His sky vaults and pour rain on your land on schedule and bless the work of your hands." Again, the work of your hands. So what is the work of your hands? Are you giving it your best? Are you working hard? Are you working smart? Are you making it a platform that God can begin to bless? Then finally is, when you're working towards your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, you're working hard, you're setting goals, you want to be patient and trust God, because chances are you may be checking all of these boxes already and you're still wondering, so why am I not there? Why have I not got to where I hoped and dreamed to be? I would say keep the faith. This 2025, commit to keeping the faith, because the end of faith is glory. Trust God even when it doesn't look like it. You know, the truth is, every prayer that is backed up by action, that is backed up by faith. You know, when it says faith without works is dead. So it says, show me your faith by your works. I will show me your works by your faith. I will show you my faith by my works. So both have to be together. So I want to assume that you're an individual who is doing all of the works and who is doing all of the faith. And you're still waiting for God to show up at the end. And you're just wondering where He's God. My encouragement for you in this 2025 will be that every prayer gets answered. Every prayer would have one of three answers. It is either a yes, now you can have it, the time is right. It is either a no, no, there's something better that is being prepared for you. Or it is wait, I'm still building you. A wise person said everything that you are looking for is also looking for you. It's just sometimes it is not this version of you. That is where wait comes into place. If we look at the story of Joseph, if Joseph had become prime minister, immediately landed in Egypt, he had not learnt the ways of Egypt. He had not learnt the politics of Egypt. He had not learnt the language of Egypt. I'm not sure it would have been that effective. And so the 13 years plus that he spent before becoming the prime minister seemed like God was silent. But by the time he came out, in one day, he got a job, he got a house, he got a wife. That is still the same thing that some people will spend 13 years looking for. So, and again, people say, not people, you've probably heard it, people, yes, anyway, you say when God wants to come big, He comes late. That may be your story. And it may just be that God is just building momentum, building capacity out of you, waiting for the time He would come and show Himself as He has promised. So I would just encourage you, wait, trust Him, trust His timing, keep being diligent, keep seeing to it that you're mentally fit, you're physically fit, you're spiritually vibrant, you're doing all of the hard work, you're setting goals, and watch God come through for you at the end of the day. So now, in conclusion, in this 2025, come what may, remember that you have only one life to live. Please make it count. Please, 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 please make it count. And most illnesses, either physical or mental, can be prevented. So please be proactive. You are observing some patterns that makes you uncomfortable in your health, physically, mentally, even spiritually. Please be proactive. Seek help. And at the center of it all is God. He's right at the beginning, He's right at the end. That's why we call Him the Alpha and the Omega. And as such, exploits, genuine, God-honoring exploits that still gives us peace that passes all understanding, is impossible without Him. You know, there's a Bible passage that says, I think the Lord blesses without hardening sorrow. It is only God that can do that. So while we do all of the planning, all of the strategizing, all of the hard work, to which I deeply salute each and every one of us, myself inclusive, let's not forget the place of God. And on that note, I wish you and I a happy 2025. Thank you for staying with me.